Hello and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this.
Jamie Carragher defends risky Liverpool decision as Arne Slot problem clear. Jamie Carragher has defended Liverpool's decision to sell Luis Diaz last summer, but admitted the Reds are missing the Colombian winger. Diaz joined Bayern Munich last summer for a fee of £66 million, $88 million, €75 million. Despite him playing a major role in the Reds' title triumph last season, he featured in 36 league games and contributed 13 goals and 7 assists, while operating in several different roles for Arne Slot, including up front. Despite that, Liverpool was reluctant to offer him a new contract on vastly improved terms last summer, despite Diaz entering the final 2 years of his deal. So when Bayern came calling, it was a transfer that made sense for all parties. However, much of Liverpool's problems this season have been attributed to Diaz's exit, and with Slot unwilling to hand Rio Ngumoha and Federico Chiesa regular minutes, the Reds have lacked options in the wide areas. Yet Carragher feels the decision to sell one of the club's key attackers was justifiable. No, Liverpool wasn't wrong to sell him, but they miss him as a player. 100%, opined the former defender during CBS Sports Tuesday Champions League coverage. That was always going to be the case, as he was a really good player for Liverpool. But sometimes you get presented deals as a club, and at the time that was a good deal for Liverpool. Liverpool bought Luis Diaz for around £40 million. They had him for about 4 seasons. He was due for a new contract, and he had been on the same contract since he first came. He wasn't on huge wages, and the next one would have put him on a real big contract. And then Liverpool would have him on a contract into his early 30s. Which is probably not what they wanted. Bayern Munich had a problem because they tried to get Florian Wirtz. Obviously, he came to Liverpool. Then Jamal Musiala got injured in the Club World Cup, so they were so desperate for a player they ended up paying around £70 million for Luis Diaz at 28, so the whole package was a good deal. He's still a really good player. That last season for Liverpool, and we're now seeing that at Bayern Munich. But I wouldn't criticize the club for it. Carragher was speaking on the night. Diaz scored the opening goal in Bayern's 2-1 win over Real Madrid in the first leg of the Champions League quarter-final tie. His ex-teammate Steven Gerrard was in agreement that Liverpool misses Diaz, claiming on TNT Sports coverage of the game that he would take the 29-year-old back at Anfield. "Oh yeah, we do miss him. We miss him a lot. He's been quite quiet in this game, surprisingly. But you can't sleep when Luis Diaz is about. The timing of his run, his speed, and the finish is exquisite." Next news. Liverpool news. Mohamed Salah replacement named as star opens up on transfer talks. Liverpool face a vital first leg clash with Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League quarterfinals. On Wednesday night, the Reds suffered another crushing blow on Saturday as they were thrashed 4-0 by Manchester City in the FA Cup quarterfinals. That loss now makes the Champions League the club's sole remaining chance of silverware this campaign, with Arne Slot's team also battling in the top 4 fight in the Premier League. It's been a chaotic period both on and off the field recently, with the confirmation that Mohamed Salah is departing the club in the summer, while supporters' demonstrations over increasing ticket costs are also scheduled in the coming days. Here's all the latest news from Anfield. Steven Gerrard names Mo Salah's replacement. Steven Gerrard reckons French talent Michael Olise could be the player to step into Salah's shoes next term. Reports YN Washington. Since moving from Crystal Palace to Bayern Munich last summer, the 24-year-old has shown in the Bundesliga. Though the former Liverpool midfielder conceded it would be a difficult transfer to complete, the concern if you're trying to Salah, there's very few out there, he said. Olise would be one, but I don't think he'd be available. From experience, being around Liverpool, the recruitment team will have different options. That doesn't necessarily mean like. When we had to replace Sadio Mane, for example, we went for signed Luis Diaz, who was slightly different. When Luis Suarez or Fernando Torres has left, they've had different type of options to replace the players. Liverpool have a fantastic record of replacing top players, so I've got every confidence from a recruitment point of view that they'll have different options. They'll have to replace his goal involvements, which is extremely difficult because he's been incredible for Liverpool for many years. Dominic, speaking to the Liverpool Echo, the Hungarian international shed light on his bond with the club's talisman. "To be honest, maybe I am very close with Mo," he said. "Yeah, I don't have to talk too much about it because everyone knows. We had a lot of talks about what is going to happen in the future, and it is his own decision. He is a grown man, it's his own decision. He knows what to do. I think he is professional enough to act in a way that he has to, because to leave with one of the trophies we are going for would be amazing. The midfielder also spoke about Salah's standing as a Premier League legend and his reputation worldwide, saying, "The numbers speak for themselves. The stuff he has done on the pitch speaks for itself, and he is one of the best that has ever played. That is not only for Liverpool. I think the world as well, and I am happy I was lucky to play with him, and I really happy that I can say he is one of my friends. He is every day in training being a good example for all of us. For the new guys, the old guys, everyone. He shows us about being a better player and a better human, so he has had a big impact on his career. Mo is one of my best friends in the squad. He is with me all the time, but Milos Kerkez is with me as well all the time. So we are the three. Milos is my little brother and Mo is my big brother." Next. News. Liverpool trio at risk of suspensions ahead of Champions League clash with PSG. 3 Liverpool players are in danger of receiving a Champions League ban as the Reds look to edge closer to the semi-finals tonight. Virgil van Dijk and Ryan Gravenberch both received bookings during the round of 16 tie against Galatasaray last month, joining Curtis Jones in having accumulated 2 yellow cards in the competition this season, leaving them at risk of suspension. The trio would face a suspension from a potential quarter-final second leg if they are cautioned when Liverpool face Paris Saint-Germain at the Parc des Princes. Conor Bradley also sits on 2 yellow cards in the Champions League but has been sidelined for the remainder of the season due to a knee injury sustained in early January. Tournament regulations state that any player who collects 3 yellow cards or any subsequent odd number of bookings from the league stage onwards will be suspended for the following match. A clean slate is only granted upon completion of the quarterfinals, when all yellow card tallies are wiped. Paris Saint-Germain also have 2 players sitting on 2 yellow cards, with both Nuno Mendes and Vicha Kvaratskhelia just 1 booking away from missing the second leg at Anfield next Tuesday. Liverpool are under immense pressure going into the visit to the reigning European champions after their misery this season was compounded at Manchester City on Saturday. The Reds were dumped out of the FA Cup in the last 8 to their Premier League rivals after a 4-0 defeat at the Etihad Stadium. Arne Slot's side made an impressive start, but their momentum unraveled after another defensive capitulation, when 1 quickly became 2 on the stroke of half-time. Pressure is mounting on the Dutchman, with the Reds facing a serious threat of limping to the end of the season after a disastrous Premier League title defense. The next 7 days, which features the 2-legged showdown with PSG and the visit of Fulham in the Premier League sandwich it between, have been viewed as pivotal for the Liverpool head coach. The 7-time Champions League winners could be out of the competition and facing an uphill task in the race for qualification. A win for the Cottagers at Anfield on Saturday would not only dent Liverpool's aspirations but ignite the West London clubs, with Chelsea, Brentford and Everton all vying for a European spot. Slot remains defiant despite the external pressure and noise surrounding his position in the Anfield hot seat. He said, "The good thing is that during this year we have become quite experienced in terms of negativity because of all the setbacks we've had this season. This was a big one because it was the quarterfinal, because it was a big loss, because it was against our rivals. But for me it felt just as bad when we were 3-2 up at Leeds and we conceded in extra time, and when we were going 2-1 up against Fulham and we conceded in extra time. If I start to name all the setbacks we had this season, I see other people want to ask questions in this press conference. Then it's probably not possible to list them all. We talked to the players in meetings but also individually. I think it makes complete sense and it is completely normal." The feeling Virgil van Dijk shared after the game. That is the feeling every player had, and not only every player, but every staff member and every fan and supporter of Liverpool as well. Everyone involved in Liverpool Football Club was disappointed after that result. That takes 1 or 2 days before you look forward. Look ahead to the next game, but before you do that you first address what we have to improve, and that's quite obvious. I think everyone can see that. NEXT PSG versus Liverpool prediction, betting tips, lineups and odds. Champions League quarter-final betting preview. PSG versus Liverpool, defending UCL champions and League 1 leaders. PSG host Premier League heavyweights Liverpool in the first leg of this UEFA Champions League quarter-final at Parc des Princes. With kickoff set for 1 o'clock on Thursday the 9th of April, there's a case for backing PSG to win. Liverpool won at the Parc des Princes in last year's Champions League knockout stage, but the Reds are a different team now. Looking at the home and away form, XG data and overall performances, it all points to a home win in this clash. PSG look like a standout bet when it comes to the full-time result market. There are odds of 1.67 that Luis Enrique's side come out on top, and we're confident that this is a value play. Liverpool struggling for form. Paris Saint-Germain come into this quarter-final top of League One, 4 points clear of Lens with the game in hand, while Liverpool sit 5th in the Premier League, 21 points behind leaders Arsenal. PSG were victorious when they last played, landing a 3-1 League One home success against Toulouse at Parc des Princes. Les Parisiens recorded an impressive 72% of possession and managed 7 shots on target, with Ousmane Dembele scoring 2 goals and Gonçalo Ramos registering the other. Liverpool suffered an FA Cup quarter-final defeat in their previous game, losing 4-0 away to Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium. The Reds had 51% possession and recorded 5 shots on goal. Last time out in the Premier League, Liverpool lost 2-1 away to Brighton at the Amex Stadium. Arne Slot's team had 54% possession and 5 shots on target, with Milos Kerkez on the SCORESHET. In the Champions League round of 16. PSG claimed a dominant 8-2 aggregate win over Chelsea, while Liverpool beat Galatasaray 4-1 over to legs. Head-to-head statistics, and Liverpool met in last year's round of 16, with Liverpool winning 1-0 at the Parc des Princes and PSG responding with a 1-0 victory at Anfield. Before the French side progressed to the quarterfinals on penalties, PSG last 10 League and Champions League games 7 wins, 2 losses and 1 draw, averaging 2.6 goals from 7.3 shots on goal and 18.3 attempts. PSG have had 67.1% possession, 692.7 passes and 5.3 corners per game. On average, their opponents have scored 1.3 goals from 3.5 shots on goal and 8.9 attempts, while being awarded 3.3 corners. Bradley Barcola is the top scorer with 5 goals, while Ousmane Dembele, Desire Doué and Kvaratskhelia each have 4. Achraf Hakimi is the top assists maker on 4, with goalie Matvei Safonov managing 4 clean sheets. Liverpool, last 10 League and Champions League games, Liverpool have 5 victories, 4 defeats and 1 draw, averaging 17.7 attempts, 6.2 shots on goal and 1.9 goals. The Merseyside outfit averaged 55.0% possession, 480.2 passes, 6.7 corners awarded and 4.9 corners against them, while 1.1 goals have been conceded from 3.9 shots on goal and 11.6 attempts. Hugo Ekitike is the leading scorer with 4 goals, followed by Dominic Szoboszlai on 3, with Mohamed Salah and 2 others bagging 2. Mohamed Salah is top assists provider with 4. While Alisson Becker has kept 3 clean sheets in the previous 10 games. Predicted and confirmed lineups. PSG predicted lineup for 3-3, Matvei Safonov GK, Achraf Hakimi, Marquinhos, William Paca, Nuno Mendes, Warren Zaire-Emery, Vitinha, Joe Neves, Desire Doué, Ousmane Dembele, Kvaratskhelia. Liverpool predicted lineup for 2-2, Georgi Mamardashvili GK, Jeremy Frimpong, Ibrahima Konate, Virgil van Dijk, Milos Kerkez, Ryan Gravenberch, Alexis Mac Allister, Dominic Szoboszlai, Florian Wirtz, Mohamed Salah, Hugo Ekitike. Next news, Ibrahima Konate close to Liverpool contract agreement. It's starting to feel like we may finally have a conclusion to the Ibrahima Konate contract situation at Liverpool. Over the past 18 months there have been moments when it looked like the club and the player were miles apart. Initial offers were viewed as on the low side. Madrid's interest was heavily trailed in Spain, and there was even talk of the Frenchman letting his deal run down and walking away for nothing. Instead, the mood around Anfield has shifted noticeably in recent weeks. The Athletic has already reported that it is more likely that Konate stays at Anfield, for a defender who has already formed a strong partnership with Virgil van Dijk and played a major role in recent trophy wins. Tying him down would not only stabilize the back line, but also send a message that the core of this team is being kept together for the next cycle under Arne Slot. Now a fresh report from French journalist Abdel Aboulma seems to affirm that the 26-year-old will stay at Liverpool. After several months of tough negotiations, Ibrahima Konate and Liverpool are close to an agreement. Even though some details still need to be ironed out, Bulma reports before adding that it is a long-term contract being prepared. A long-term lease is taking shape. There is still work to be done. Of course, salary structure, bonuses, and length of contract have all been sticking points in previous rounds of talks, but the tone around this story is now very different to the uncertainty of a few months ago. If this latest update proves accurate, the lengthy standoff could soon give way to a new deal that keeps the Frenchman at the heart of Liverpool's defense for years to come, and finally draws a line under one of the more drawn-out contract sagas of the post-Klopp era. Next news, Luis Diaz. I made right choice swapping Liverpool for Bayern Munich. Luis Diaz believes he made the right decision to join Bayern Munich from Liverpool last summer. The Colombian forward has been in sensational form for the Bundesliga giants, with 23 goals and 18 assists in 40 games since arriving to the Allianz Arena in July in a €75 million $87 million transfer. Diaz, who scored his team's opener in Bayern's 2-1 win at Real Madrid in Tuesday's Champions League quarterfinal first leg, told ESPN, deciding to join Bayern was the right choice. I'm really happy and I enjoy every match. I feel great. I'm in good shape and that means I'm ready to help the team. Diaz, who is expected to start for Colombia at this summer's World Cup, believes Bayern's strong season is down to good chemistry. We have a clear plan. We're a very close-knit group, and that shows on the pitch. Diaz said. Bayern are 9 points clear of Borussia Dortmund at the top of the Bundesliga with 6 games remaining. They are also alive in the German Cup and face Bayer Leverkusen in the semifinal on April 22. Before that, Bayern have a mouth-watering encounter against Real Madrid in the Champions League. Diaz felt his team should be holding a bigger margin heading into next week's return leg. Bayern had 9 shots on target at the Bernabeu and stuck to their game plan. We'd already analyzed Real Madrid, and the move regarding the opening goal went exactly as we'd planned, Diaz said. We felt more comfortable as the game progressed, won the ball back more often and controlled the game better. That's what we like to do. We're very happy, but we're left with a slight feeling of disappointment that we could have scored 1 or 2 more goals. We played a great match against a very tough opponent. Next news, Isak travels with Liverpool to PSG but will not start, says Salah. Liverpool striker Alexander Isak traveled with the squad for Wednesday's Champions League quarterfinal first leg trip to Paris Saint-Germain, but the club's British record signing will not start against the European champions. Manager Arne Slot said on Tuesday. The 26-year-old Sweden international returned to full-team training last week following a prolonged absence with a broken leg. However, he was left out of the squad for Saturday's 4-0 FA Cup quarter-final thrashing at Manchester City. Isak's return is nonetheless a major boost for the reigning Premier League champions, who have endured a difficult domestic campaign. Liverpool are languishing in 5th place in the English top flight and have suffered 15 defeats across all competitions this season, their highest tally in a single campaign since losing 18 matches in 2014-15. Since joining from Newcastle United for a club record £125 million on transfer deadline day in September. Isak has scored 3 goals and provided 1 assist in 16 appearances across all competitions. He finished close to a week of team training sessions, so he can play a part, otherwise I wouldn't take him, Slot told reporters. We didn't take him to the Etihad because we felt he wasn't able to get a performance yet. Now we think we can get a performance out of him, but not to start. Asked whether League One leaders PSG should be considered favorites, Slot downplayed the importance of labels. I don't think it matters if there is a favorite. It's only about 2 games. A lot can happen in 2 games, he said. The tie is a repeat of last season's round of 16 meeting, when PSG eliminated Liverpool on penalties. Last season I think we deserved to lose here 4-0, Slot added. That game was only not 4-0 because of goalkeeper Alisson Becker. At Anfield, I think we deserved to win. The difference this time is that PSG kept their group together. Our team will look different to the one that was here last season.
Thank you for watching. Like and comment, subscribe.